Hey, what up, everybody? Stevie Breach coming to you. I cannot believe it's already been 2 years into the CM Punk deal. Can you believe that Money in the Bank 2011 was 2 years ago? Honestly, in my opinion, it feels like that pay-per-view was yesterday. I feel it went to the SummerSlam 2011. CM Punk versus, I almost said Triple H. He was a special guest referee. CM Punk versus John Cena match. I felt like that was the pay-per-view that was last year. I have no idea what happened at SummerSlam 2012. I know I was there. I know I had a fun time. But honestly, when I always think about last year's SummerSlam, I always think about the SummerSlam before for some reason. I always have memories about that one. I guess because, in my opinion, it was probably just a little bit of a better show. But I just read that CM Punk is coming up on the last year of his contract, which is true. He signed that 3-year deal, but right before the Money in the Bank match of 2011. That was the deal for him becoming champion. Vince McMahon put a lot of faith in him. They saw how much of a buzz that he created, before the thing. It wasn't like if he would have won the championship, he would have took it to TNA or Ring of Honor. He even said that in that one promo that everybody likes to call the pipe bomb, that he would take the title to New Japan and wrestle over there. But I don't think that was ever the thing, but Vince wanted to lock it up to make sure nothing, crazy or anything that happened. If you go back and watch those prediction videos from back then, I mean, like, everybody had a different idea about what was going to happen. I actually thought that there was a small chance that he would show up at the Ring of Honor TV tapings. It was there for their first show. I thought maybe Vince would want to sort of like give them a little bit of a helping hand for that first show to kick off their television, maybe help them spread a little bit more in the United States. At that point, he hadn't really gutted Ring of Honor, but he had taken a good number of stars. He was about to take away the Kings of Wrestling from them. But he had definitely, taken a lot of guys from there, and I thought that might have been a way of, sort of saying thank you. He did a lot more to help out ECW when he was taking those guys. We found out years later that he was slipping them money under the table to make sure they could stay alive, so he could, steal people from them and sort of use them like it's his own developmental deal. I think when it came down to it, I think he was actually sending people there and paying them and using it like it was a developmental. I know that Al Snow was the guy that went there under WWE contract, and there was a few other guys like that, but anything in the world was going to happen with CM Punk. Now that we've gone, full circle, CM Punk has done everything. He went on that huge babyface turn in 2011 where he was walking around. He was waving at fans. He was kissing babies. He was hugging fat chicks, and that was all fine, fun, and dandy. And then he went on his 400-day title run. I think, what was it, 434 days off the top of my head. If it's right, my CM Punk plaque is covered up. And if I'm wrong about a lot of stuff. But that was my guess off the top of my head on what it was going to be. But honestly, in my opinion, CM Punk is a babyface. Gets really, really boring very, very fast. He's very limited on what he can do. He honestly seems like when he goes out there for his promos, he doesn't get to say the things that he wants to say. It seems like, the writers hand him a script, and it's almost like he's just standing out there in the middle of the ring, just reading the script. You might as well just bring it out there with him, because he doesn't have his heart into it. He's not saying the things that he wants to say. When he goes out there as a heel, I don't even think the writers give him bullet points. Just tell him, like, this is the guy that you're going to fight at the pay-per-view. This is what we're trying to get at. You're probably going to win this match, so, go ahead and say you're going to crush this guy, and just go from there. It wasn't until, CM Punk broke out, and attacked The Rock on Raw 1000, and slowly turns, there's that huge heel turn that, it got to the point where CM Punk got exciting again. It almost like, it wasn't until they built up the John Cena feud at Night of Champions that didn't really even save it for me. What really, really got me back into WWE full force was when, it was after October. It might have helped out a little bit that I went to a show in October at the same time. But it was like when John Cena was getting injured, and they were pumping up Ryback to take that slot in the main event, and because he was a filler for this big main event on a pay-per-view that was going to be what was carrying the show, there was that little bit of a question of doubt. Are they going to end the streak in order to sort of give fans something to say, like, I was there, I saw this, I gave my money, as sort of like a thing, like, even if a big pay-per-view comes along and the big main event, you don't get what you thought you were going to get, there's a reason to tune in for it, because it's WWE and you never know what's going to happen. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day, and they went from there. After that feud, it went into the whole The Rock thing. Never in my mind did I think that CM Punk would be working a main event against The Rock. Once The Rock came back, there was a limited number of guys that I thought The Rock would want to work with, and nowhere on that list was CM Punk on there. I know that a lot of people ordered the Royal Rumble. It got a huge number. A lot of people went to the Royal Rumble, like myself. I went there because they nominated The Rock as the number one contender. They said this is going to be there. I thought no way in the world they would book The Rock in a championship match that far out if they weren't planning on giving it to him. And they even went from there. That drew a huge number to the point that I don't think he was on the books of what they were going to do. They might have changed plans around the way. There's different things in the air on what was going to happen. They even said The Rock might wrestle in an Elimination Chamber style match, but they liked what happened with the Royal Rumble match. They went with the rematch, CM Punk against The Rock. No way in the world I ever thought that he would wrestle him twice as the main event of a pay-per-view. After that feud ends, he goes in and he works The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Not only that, he's a person that a lot of people favored to win the match. A lot of really credible people thought that this was somebody that could actually win the streak. Vince McMahon, put this huge faith in him to carry the title for this long. Is he the guy that's actually going to be the guy that kills The Undertaker and takes his streak away to push him to the next momentum of, stardom? It didn't happen. After that, he took his break and he came back, and now they're wanting to build towards, I guess, him versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam, which is going to be one hell of a match. But how far along is CM Punk going to run as a babyface? Because if this is the last year of his contract, it's not guaranteed that he's going to sign. He might work all this way to the end, and then he might say that he wants to be like Chris Jericho. He might want to basically just go sit at home and wait for the right time to come back. I mean, if you follow Twitter, CM Punk on Twitter between WrestleMania now, he's done everything from go to concert, Cubs games, Blackhawk things. He's not sitting around waiting for the phone to ring. He's not waiting for Hunter or Vince to call him up and say, we need you to come save the day. And honestly, in my opinion, if they would have called him back early, I think CM Punk's the kind of guy who might have hung up on him and just said, I was promised that I'd have this much time off, and that's how much time I'm going to take off. And if you need me, sooner than that, screw you. If this is going to be the last year of Punk, basically, in my opinion, he is the guy that you need. John Cena is the face of the company, but honestly, in my opinion, the reason a lot of people tune in is because of CM Punk. You've seen the numbers dive down, and I honestly don't believe it's just because of the NBA playoffs. I think that with the lack of CM Punk, you're not getting that guy that's going to go out there and say anything and also be able to back it up. I mean, I hate the guy. In my honest opinion, I think I really hate the guy from the way he treated me last year at SummerSlam. But when he's on my TV, he's the guy that I want to see. He's the guy that's going to deliver the best matches. Technically around there, it's like him and Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan can get there, but he's not working the main events. I'm going to like the matches that are in the middle, but I'm not really going to, think that that's worth my money, that's worth my time. It's just sort of like what gets you to the point. It's always the main event. You always want to feel out that main storyline. Every once in a while, something in the middle might grab you, but if you're going to buy a pay-per-view, you're more than likely not going to buy it for a middle match. You pay for what's on the end. Very rarely do I think anybody ever does that. But in my opinion, the easiest way to lose CM Punk is to make him lose what he cares about. If he's going to go out there as a babyface for the next 6 months, I don't think he's going to give a shit about it. I think he's just going to, go through the numbers and just, what it is just what it is. And I think at the end of the day, he'll just decide that this isn't what he's going to want to do. He's always been a kind of guy who said that he saved his money, he hasn't really bought a whole bunch of stupid things. He can live at a small, what does he call it? Is it a condo? I think he calls it a condo. It's not a house, but he can live in what he lives in now for the rest of his life. He doesn't have a family. He doesn't, have a wife. I guess he's with Lita when he needs to be with Lita. Every once in a while you hear that they're not together, and sometimes they are together, and that's a sticky situation and all that. But honestly, in my opinion, I think that he could walk away, and he'd probably want to do it again after a while. He'd probably get the itch, and he might call up or wait for them to call him to fill a role. But he's the kind of guy that is easily going to be very, very missed when he leaves. You need to make him happy, almost like Shawn Michaels during those days. If he wants to beat somebody, let him beat him. And you got to keep that guy around, because he's the why I tune in. He's probably why a lot of other guys tune in. WWE without CM Punk is going to be a huge hole. Somebody's going to fill it. It's not like Vince is going to be, oh, fuck, sell the company, we're closing down. But honestly, in my opinion, CM Punk is the kind of guy that a lot of people would make change the channel to somewhere else if he did show up somewhere else. So, honestly, in my opinion, like that thing before Money in the Bank when Vince was trying to negotiate with him on Monday Night Raw, give the guy whatever he wants. Make him the massive heel. Let him be whoever he needs to be. Just let him sign his name on that contract and make sure he doesn't walk away.